Hello, everyone. Welcome to Joe and Black Ministries. I'm Fr Joe Krupp, and you are not. And today is Wednesday, December 11th, I think, the year of our Lord, 2024. And we have a great one coming up. And it's great, of course, because I'm in it. And I'm so humble that I can tell you that I'm great. But all kidding aside, we're going to have Coach Mark Dantonio on in just a moment. But first, you know what I got to do. I got to give a shout out to my foreign correspondents, Patricia and Veronica in Scotland, Bren Van in Canada, Sabine in Germany, Richard in England, Margaret in New Zealand, Chris in the Philippines, John in Spain, Jose in Mexico, Karen in Singapore, Aline in Australia, and Kevin in Wisconsin. Don't forget, folks, if you're going to buy local, especially in this Christmas season. You want to support local businesses. For us here at Holy Family and at St. Mark, when we need stuff of a religious nature, we go to Michigan Church Supply in Mount Morris, Michigan, or Celtic Cove Catholic Bookstore in Oxford, Michigan. Mention my name, and you will get no discount whatsoever. They may ask you to leave. Are you in the market for a new or used car? You simply cannot do better than Al Sarah and Grand Blanc. You just drive right down Saginaw Road. There are 10 Al Sarahs there. They have a million choices all in one destination. And when you stop in, ask for Kyle, and he will sell you a car whether you need one or not. So with that in mind, we're going to meet Coach Mark Dantonio in just a minute. And for those of you who are not American football people, we forgive you. But what this guy did in his career at Michigan State University, where Jesus went to school, is astounding. And I'm just going to give you some of them, okay? 3 Big Ten championships, 2 Big Ten Legends Divisions championships, 1 Big Ten East championship, 2-time Big Ten Coach of the Year. He won the Rose Bowl. He is in the Rose Bowl Hall of Fame, in the Michigan State University Hall of Fame. And today, which is actually Tuesday for those of us in Las Vegas, today he is going to be admitted to the College Football Hall of Fame. He's the first coach in Big Ten history to win at least 11 games in 5 of his first 6 seasons. He's the winningest football coach in MSU history. He beat some school in Ann Arbor 8 times. And this is a crazy stat. Yes. The evil empire was vanquished. Ohio State and Michigan State, did you guys know this? Were the first teams in history to win 13 games in one season. Okay? Dantonio was the defensive coordinator at Ohio State when that happened, and the head coach at Michigan State when it happened. So, all of this to say, we're about to talk to one of the most extraordinary and accomplished men I know. But more than that, I can tell you as his friend for almost 20 years that he is a prayerful man of great integrity. He is a man who loves his wife and his daughters and his grandkid. I just can't say enough about this good man. So I'm so excited for you to meet him. So let's all right now give a very warm Joe and Black Ministries welcome to Coach Mark Dantonio, superstar action figure, Big Ten championship sold separately. Okay, so with that big warm welcome, again, Coach, we're so excited for you being appointed to the Hall of Fame, and I'd love to know, like, what are your feelings about it? Like, what was it like to find out?
Yeah, it's been surreal for about the last 6 months, really.
Yeah,
Found out in the summer a little bit, and then coming out here to Vegas and being at the event that we had in East Lansing on the 28th. You sort of go full circle a lot, and you think about a lot of the people that you've been involved with. And as I said there, and I'll say it now, these are program awards because so many different people have been involved in this,
yeah.
and I hope that when people see this, they say, "Hey, I'm a part of that, and I played for this guy, but I was a part of that, and I helped make it happen." Because whether you're an administrator or a player or a staff member
Mm-hmm.
or a priest,
Yeah. A beautiful priest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those things are all important, and it's not just my time at Michigan State. To get to Michigan State, you had to do the work, and so sort of crosses the board from my high school coach, my little league coaches, my parents, my so many different people, and on up through the coaching profession and as my playing days.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like sitting at the dinner last night and talking to like people you coached with at Kansas, people you just from all
Yeah,
over the place, and your humble recognition that this is our Hall of Fame, you know. So I did ask, by the way, they put my picture up
they
instead of
did.
yours. Yeah, I
That's good.
felt that would be a good. So
Probably better.
yeah.
At least she'll be smiling, maybe.
Well, when we were on the Rose Bowl, you remember that smile?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's an $8 million smile. Do you know when did you first know you wanted to coach?
I started playing football in the second grade, organized,
Hmm.
and but I also played other sports and everything. And finally got to high school and figured out that maybe I could play in college. And then that happened. And then my high school coach was a really solid person, and my dad had coached.
Yep.
And then my secondary coach, I think you met him probably, Coach Dale Evans
Yeah. Yeah.
at South Carolina. I thought, he's got a good job. I'd like to do what he does.
Yeah.
He's around players. He impacts people. Um, he's around something he loves, and that's when I first started thinking maybe I can do this. But
Yeah.
it's a long road.
Oh
41
yeah.
years.
Oh, you look at your list, and then talking to Coach Bullman last night, and how many how boy, it's hard to get where you got. That's I guess the
Yeah, it
it's
is. You got to be blessed along the way, and you got to have a lot of good people,
mhm.
that impact you. And then, sometimes you got to be in the right place at the right time,
Yeah.
to be quite honest.
Yeah.
But when you look across my coaching career and, it's how it started and everything, I'm living in the Convo Hilton, which is like living in basketball arena, Spartan Stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, Michigan State, like living there, and had a dog and in
Yep.
and out and making $300 a month, 10-month contract though.
Yeah.
So getting my master's, and didn't know that part of that job was working 20 hours in the environmental science department. So one of my tasks were when radioactive material came in, I had to put a mask on and a lead suit on and go test it with the Geiger counter to make sure there are no leaks and that
Bro.
kind of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
A lot of stuff on the bottom end. So
Isn't that crazy? I well, let's go back in time. Okay, it's 2006. You're in Cincinnati. You just
mhm,
had a good season again, and next thing you know, you're head coach at State, right? Where
right,
Jesus went to school.
of course.
Can you walk me through, like, what do you remember? What were you thinking or feeling? What stands out from that process?
Well, it happened very, very quickly.
Okay.
I was at UC, had not talked to anybody from Michigan State, although I'd known that there was interest, but needed to finish our season first before I would even talk. I was very close to our players at UC.
Hmm.
We had a
Yeah.
good team coming back. And But the reality of the situation was like that. Was playing UConn at Connecticut. I think a 1:30 or 3:30 game. Getting back to Cincinnati in the evening, having them meet me at Lunken Airport, a small airport. The contingent from Michigan State interviewed with them about 9:30, or talked with them about 9:30 for about 2 hours. Got up the next morning, met President Simon,
Yeah. Oh, I love
said, "How long do I have to make this decision?" They offered me the job, and she said, "Well, about 5 hours."
her. That sounds like her.
So, I took the job and told my players Monday morning at 7 in the morning
Yeah.
at UC that I was leaving, which is very difficult to do, but I felt like that I needed to do that. And had a press conference in Michigan State about noon.
Yeah.
Met our players, came back. Uh, I was back up there on Wednesday and recruiting.
Nice.
So it was literally 3 days.
Yeah.
and my world just flipped, and my kids, my children's world, and everybody else. But we were all in. We'd been at Michigan State before, as many people know. Working for Nick Saban and Bobby Williams 1 year, but Nick Saban for 5. And so, of my 41 years in coaching, I spent 20 at Michigan State. So that's a blessing.
Yeah. And
Because
are
you know it's God's school.
what's that?
Because you know it's God's school.
Oh, it is. It is. I mean, and you know me, I've been to a lot of universities. I went when I moved into MSU was the same time you did. Uh, we figure it was November 27th, I think, if that sounds right, or November 26th, somewhere in there. But it was funny. I just moved there 2 months before, and it was you came to Lansing Catholic to register your girls,
Right.
and that's when I first met you. And I remember Coach Jake Boss. He was our baseball coach at Lansing Catholic, just like going on it. You have no idea what we got here, and he was right. He was one man.
Yeah.
You're still involved, right, with MSU? Like,
I'm still involved in a very small way. Don't do too much until I'll do whatever they ask me to do.
sure,
You know,
yeah,
but I'm pretty much retired. And grandfather
yeah.
and so, but I stay busy. I've been at a lot of the games.
Oh, yeah. I and we're gonna get to some of your family. Like, we want to hear about being a grandpa. We want to hear about those things. But we did get a bunch of Big Ten questions.
Okay.
Um, and one of them, like, who was to you the most challenging coach to coach against, whether it was in the Big Ten or anywhere?
Oh, I got 2 guys.
Okay.
Jim Tressel,
Oh yeah.
never beat him.
Yeah.
Nick Saban,
Oh,
never
Saban.
beat him.
Yeah.
And
You never.
those 2 guys, were the most difficult. And I would say probably I benefited from that on the other end of the spectrum.
Oh, sure. I remember when you have. Last I knew, you're the only coach with a winning record against Urban Meyer. And I don't know if you ever saw this, but the year we were down, I'm 80% sure we were at Ohio State and we beat them. And somebody had sent, did you see this? Someone had sent him a pizza, and on the box they wrote, "It's not delivery, it's Dantonio's." And did you see that picture? Like, it,
I
that
think
was
I was at the Big Ten championship game.
that what that was? So that'd be
I think so.
Indianapolis. Was that or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Indianapolis.
Okay. That was. I loved it. Okay. So, who are the coaches you admire most? Is it those two, Saban and?
I think Jim Tressel comes to mind because he's so much about growth.
Mhm.
Nick, uh, X's and O's, the organizational aspect. Tress is very organized as well, but that's hard to pick because I've been
Sure.
influenced by so many different coaches. Along the way, Dean Pease. I could go on and name numerous
Sure.
coaches that I've been touched by. But at the end of it all, you got to do it yourself, and you got to
Yeah.
form your own culture.
Yeah. And who was the best player you ever coached against? Do you remember like any particular player watching?
That'd be a tough one. I got a long list there. So to be
Okay.
fair to all of them, I would just say I can't even pick that.
Oh,
How can I pick our best player?
that's fair.
So of them, but there've been plenty of good players we've gone against.
Oh yeah. And how about, are you comfortable with this one? Who's the best player you ever coached?
Excuse me. Nope. Again, that's selling the other guys short,
Yeah.
Joe. So I've tried to keep it and say, hey,
Yeah.
Daquez Denard, Le'Veon Bell,
Oh jeez. Yeah.
Jack Conklin, Connor Cook, Kirk Cousins, list
Yeah.
can go on and on and on. I could list about 7 or 8 wideouts,
Yep.
Trey Waynes, Isaiah
Oh,
Lewis, I could just go on and on and on. Will Golston, it just goes on and on and on. So I don't ever go in that direction. I've
yeah.
got a group of young people that worked extremely hard,
Yep.
were pretty successful,
Yeah.
and had a lot of growth there as individuals and as people. And what I miss about coaching is the locker room and those relationships with the players and the X's and O's too. But
Sure.
you can't do it all
No.
anymore. There's so many other things you have to do. But so I don't miss it all, but I do miss the locker room and the players and
Yeah.
just that relationship piece.
Do you know Will Goulston actually physically picked me up off the ground one time? It was hilarious. It was after a
Yeah, with
game.
one arm probably.
Yeah, yeah, that dude. Like, I'm a fat man. And he just came up and thump, picked me right up, and he shook me. He was so excited, and we were screaming and everything. And I was like,
Yeah,
I almost died today. Uh,
yeah, he's a good guy.
so we got a guy, Jonathan. He's a big Boilermaker. And, I assume you can't answer this because it'll take too long. He wants to know everything you learned from having to coach against Purdue.
Well, that's very easy because I coached at Purdue.
Oh, that's right.
I was a GA at Purdue for Jim Young,
There you go.
and I worked there for Leon Burnett and Bobby Cope,
Mm-hmm.
two of the better secondary coaches in the country at the time. And but I spent a year, and I spent a full year at Purdue University. So
Okay, I did forget.
boiler up.
Yeah, there you go. What do you think about this one's from a Hoosier? What do you think about the Hoosiers run this year? Have you been keeping your eye on that, or
Yeah, I
what do
went
you
to that
think?
game. Very well coached and good players. Made a lot of plays. It'll be very interesting to watch them against Notre Dame. And
Yeah,
I'm sure you. I don't know when was the last time that Notre Dame has played Indiana. So.
I don't either, and I never root for Notre Dame. And obviously I'm gonna root for the Big Ten anyway. I'm just hoping Indiana freight trains them. I
Yeah.
am. I'm probably the only Catholic priest that doesn't
Well, I actually have 4 players that are coaching at Notre Dame.
get out.
So the quarterback coach Gino Gaduli, Max Bulla,
Oh yeah, love
linebackers Mike
Max.
Mickens, coached their secondary, played for me at Cincinnati,
Okay,
and then Marcus Freeman played for me at Ohio
yeah.
State. So
So are you gonna be rooting for Notre Dame then, or can you not
absolutely,
say? Oh my gosh. Okay, we'll have to put a little bet on this. I have
all
a
right,
penny. I don't want to brag, but I carry that kind of money
all right.
around. Do you have any thoughts on how the portal is changing things?
Yeah, that's changed a lot of things. I think that college football used to be about development and
Mm,
handle some adversity, being away from home for the first time, going through all the different things, academically or athletically or socially that you would. And I think that the portals created an easy way out for people.
yeah,
Not that people don't have an opportunity to make a decision, but it's created, when you have adversity or you're not playing, and you know, the easy thing is to say, hey, I'm going to leave and go play for somebody else because they'll make me feel better.
yeah,
That's not necessarily the case. And then there's been a lot of people left out in the cold and not gotten another opportunity. So I'm not sure. I know it's necessary evil, I guess, but I think it needs to be structured better, and there needs to be some limits on it.
yeah. And I
I mean, when you look at Michigan State, in my
yeah,
13 years as a head coach, I can list on one hand the transfers we had.
mm-hmm.
Ryan Lithicum, Trevor Anderson,
I love
you know,
Lithicum.
just one hand, Keith Nickel,
I love that kid.
the number of transfers we had.
Yeah.
Now it's, 20 a year.
Oh, it's like trying to keep up with an NFL team.
Yeah.
Like, you know how it goes. You'd memorize the lineup, and then you knew that would last you 2 years. That knowledge, if not four. Yeah. So one more football question,
Sure.
if you're up for it. Apparently, there's a school in Ann Arbor that was coached by Jim Harbaugh. Uh, did you have any relationship with him? That's what they asked me. I don't
In
remember
what,
you
in,
guys.
in what way?
Yeah. Well, they were like, well, he's a Catholic too, and I'm like, yeah, okay,
We'll let it go at that.
we're gonna let it go. Yeah,
No,
coach.
Coach Harbaugh's a good coach.
Yeah,
He's a good football coach. Had a lot of success there. So,
yeah,
but you got to measure up in state
yes,
before you can win a championship. It goes through Ann Arbor, I think.
I do.
And then after you've accomplished that, which there was a time when we were doing that quite regularly.
Yep.
The championship really ran through Ohio State,
Yeah.
in Columbus,
Oh
Ohio.
man.
Of,
Yeah.
so you had to win there to truly be on I think, the
And
cusp of something special.
it's not just a Gen X thing. I found out, but your "It's Never Over" speech about Ann Arbor, right? That is legend still. I don't know if you know this, and we end every show with you saying it's never over. And I swear,
They hit me
whatever.
at a bad time, but
No, that was a good time. That was because you're so disciplined and you're so, and just to watch you sit there and then know that ends with you just consistently beating them and it was so beautiful to be on the sidelines for this. You guys oh, mwah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we won 8 out of 10 at one point,
Yeah.
and I always look back and say it should have been 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
It really should have been. It
Oh,
should
I
have been
know.
10 out of 10.
We had them that year.
Now, we faded a little bit at the end and give them a lot of credit,
We
and
were
Coach
young.
Harbaugh a lot of credit because he brought them back.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
I didn't start that stuff, just so you know.
Oh, I know.
That stuff,
Oh,
that
don't
stuff
get
was
me
there
started.
a long time.
Yeah, don't get me started. Yeah.
Me either.
Do you know historically, like, I don't know, Michigan they successfully kept state out of the Big Ten for years and years and years. And that's where that hate started. Like, my dad always taught, he's like, this goes back farther
Yeah, I
than,
read the book. It
yeah.
goes way, way back.
Oh, yeah.
It's deeply ingrained.
Yeah. And it's crazy because that school in Ann Arbor, I don't know if you know, was founded by a Catholic priest. Father Gabriel Richard was the founder. And Jesus was actually the founder of MSU. And
That explains
as
it.
a Catholic priest, Jesus ranks higher. I checked that.
Slightly.
It's in the Bible. So, brother, now you're settled into retirement. What's a perfect day for Coach Dantonio or Mark Dantonio?
Yeah, perfect day is get up and make my to-do list, which I did forever and ever and ever. And on the first thing on it is pray.
Yep.
So say some, spend a couple minutes there and have a little self-devotion, and then get some workout in, walk my dogs around, see my grandkids, go to an MSU football game, win.
Yes.
I'd say that's pretty perfect. Maybe do the dishes.
Nice. You like doing dishes?
No.
Oh, I love doing dishes. Do you know this? I do. Like, Father Leia's always like, let me help. I'm like, stay away from my dishes.
Well, I was trying to do something for my wife.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't have one
So,
of those.
do a honeydew for her. No, but I said, hey, I don't know what it is, but I stay pretty busy throughout the days and the weeks. And this whole thing has been, surreal, and done a lot of different things getting ready for it. Just wanting to make sure that, especially the September 28th event, where we had our players back, I wanted to get them back, and how that was always going to tie into to Michigan State, and so anytime I can see my players or talk to my players, that's a perfect day as well.
Yeah.
So when I go back to the Michigan State games, inevitably I'm seeing some player or something like that.
And I know you hate it to some extent for me to articulate this, but it's so hard to explain to you because it's Tuesday for you. But what it means to people, like just to see you, like at a basketball game, and at any Spartan, you'll be sitting there watching Spartan basketball. There's coach. It's to see you in the stands, to see you anywhere. It reminds us of what we can be, as a school. And you gave us a gift through your hard work by recruiting good human beings. Yeah. So, what do you love about being a grandparent, or what's the? Talk to us about Grandpa Mark.
You don't know what's coming next.
Yeah, you can't plan that.
You can't plan it. You're living on the edge.
Oh yeah.
But it's fun, and my son-in-law is Nathan Carpenter. His name. So the Carpenter family. Rob Carpenter played for the Giants and the Oilers, and I recruited Bobby, his older brother, and I recruited Jonathan, the second one, and I recruited Georgie a little bit. He went to Marshall, and then Nathan went to OU, and I recruited him a little bit. But he was 8 years old when I met him.
Isn't that funny? And I just married your girl.
And I was on a home visit to Bobby. I was coaching at Ohio State, and with Coach Tressel, and we had almost like a ping pong tournament in there. And little Nathan's playing me. I had no vision of this guy going to be my son-in-law, but it's been good, and we're a good family.
Oh yeah, it was the wedding. I was chuckling, kind of sitting back. I was like, you got OSU royalty and MSU royalty, in the best way at this wedding. And there were a couple times on the dance floor I was like, this is wild.
Yeah,
it's just some good.
Well, the guy that had the tie tied around his head, that would be Bobby's father.
Yeah.
Nathan's father.
Oh
Excuse me.
yeah, yeah,
Nathan's father.
yeah. So, do you have a favorite saint? Do you have a saint that you're like, that's my guy or that's my gal, or is it more Hall
It's
of Fame?
it's more. I think it's more sayings in the Bible and
Yeah,
things of that nature.
you're a very you are deeply rooted in Scripture, and that's one of the things I love. Like when I first met you, you were reading a book about Joshua in the Old
Yeah.
Testament, and yeah, Joshua. So if there's a man or a woman out there who is interested in coaching, do you have any advice for them? Or maybe they've started coaching; they're just beginning.
Yeah, I do have some advice. It's not about the wins and losses.
Okay.
It's about the individuals you'll affect for a lifetime.
Yeah.
The wins and losses will come if you capture the hearts of other players, of
Yeah.
players and individuals working for you. And if we all have the same goal and can move like this, together, you can accomplish great things. But if you splinter, it's uh, it's not going to work. And the last thing I'll say about it is it's going to take time.
Yeah.
There's no quick fix
Yeah.
in college athletics, whether it be playing or coaching.
Um.
You're going to experience adversity.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think of how often at practice I'd see GAs. And at first I wasn't clear on what a GA was or what any of, and then just learning every coach starts there to
Everyone.
some extent. And like watching their willingness to do all the little things, like how much humility is a part of the base of it all is what shocked me.
Yeah.
That kind of humility that comes with, we're going to work the lowest level and earn our way up. It's a powerful thing to see.
Yeah, I played at South Carolina, so
Hmm.
it's a big school. We played Notre Dame, Georgia. We played all the bigs.
Yep.
And I spent a year in high school coaching, and then I got into being a graduate assistant at Ohio University. But
Yeah.
I thought, oh, I'll get a job next year.
Yeah.
And it took years to get that full-time job. From there. I went to Purdue University as a graduate assistant, and then went to Butler Junior College as a defensive coordinator. They made a coaching change within 6 months from me getting there,
Yeah.
and so I was back home in Zanesville, Ohio, and then I got a call from a guy who'd been at Purdue, Randy Hart, and to come to Ohio State and see if I wanted to be a GA there. And I really didn't want to, believe it or not, but decided to do that. So that was another 2 years, and then I went to Army for 2 weeks. Literally two
Yeah.
weeks.
Well, you
So I
gotta
was going
tell
to be
us.
a highly paid GA there,
Yeah.
full staff. And Bob Sutton, if you know these names, Bob Sutton's another revered coach in the NFL, and so I was working for him and doing the cut-ups, all the cut-ups from the season. Where
Yeah.
cut-ups were spliced together with glue and tape and
Oh
hanging on a.
yeah, back
You
then.
hang them on a
Gosh.
paper clip that you bend,
Yep.
and then put them together. And anyway, but I was there, and I got a call from Akron to be their secondary coach. So
Okay.
I walked in to talk to Coach Young, who'd been at Purdue, and told him I had to leave. And that was a tough one, but I went to Akron, and then we won 8 games, and they let the guy go.
They let him go on an 8-game.
Yeah, the winningest coach in their history, and brought in Jerry Faust, if you remember when that happened.
Oh, Well, okay.
So then I went to Youngstown State, and that's when I first got a little bit of roots. So other than that, I'd been one place.
Yeah.
For 1 year, 2 years. So
That's
then I went
crazy.
to Youngstown and was there for 5 years before going to KU, Kansas, and then Michigan State with Nick.
That's wild. I didn't know about your 2-week Army stint. When I finish
Yeah.
telling people that story about you, it's going to be a little different, just so you know.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the time Mark got kicked out of the Army? It's something like
Yeah.
that. Well, okay, last question. You got time for one more?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you rooting for the Lions?
Oh yeah, I'm rooting for the Lions.
Nice. And do you think we can get that Super Bowl?
I think they might be the best team in the NFL right now. I mean, they're poised and they're very confident, very aggressive in what they do, and don't count them out.
No,
In any game,
no,
don't count them out.
man. Well, Mark, we're so grateful to you and for you, and we're grateful for your family sharing you with us and sharing us with the Michigan State community, and just so blessed that you would bring us here for this amazing honor.
Well, I have to say, I have two girls, Lauren and Kristen, and I have three brothers, and my mom and dad and everything. With Father Joe, and you became a part of our lives. So I wanted to make sure that you were out here. You helped bury my father.
Yeah.
Baptized my two grandchildren, married my daughter.
You
So you're ingrained in the Dantonio.
God help you. Like
We're
a
in trouble.
tick. I'm burrowed in like a tick.
Yeah. But I always appreciate your prayers, and
Yeah, always.
and my girls think the world of you, and both graduates of Lansing Catholic, both graduates of Michigan State, so they're doing well.
Yeah. And so are you, brother. Thanks for everything.
Thanks for having me on. God bless everybody.
Oh, do you want me to wrap it up? Oh, okay. So we got to ask you. Can you do the "It's never over" line for us?
Probably not as well as I did back then.
Yeah. Well, Coach, is it over?
No, it's never over. It'll never be over. It's just starting.
Nice. Goosebumps. Goosebumps. Everybody, look. I forgot about that where you said it's just starting.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That was the greatest thing